Hey coaches, Marc Hart here with System Basketball. Today going live again on another Dribble Drive Motion Hoop Talk conversation. Today we're going to talk transition offense out of the Dribble Drive Motion. Today I want to share with you kind of how I teach the personnel roles, the options out of the primary break, and then give you some things that I like to do as automatics that'll hopefully make it easy for your players to start understanding how to flow it right into Dribble Drive and not having to back out, respace it, and have that dreaded word, set it up, because you're already in your offense. Dribble Drive's an attack offense. If it's your first time joining me, welcome. Again, my name's Marc Hart. I'm a high school basketball coach, owner, operator of System Basketball. And I've been running the Dribble Drive since 2008. So let's get into a little bit of a presentation today I have for you. So first things first, it's a numbered break on makes. We are assigned roles. I don't want any questioning. I don't want any uncertainty of who's doing what. So the 5-man or your 4-man is going to inbound the ball. That person is the trailing guard. So if you're in your Dribble Drive 2-guard set, it'd be the opposite player up top with the point guard that always inbounds the ball. So on that situation, our 2 is going to run the right side, and they're going to get out wide. And when the ball's in the backcourt, we want them top of the key extended. Our 3 will run the left side. Our 3 runs. When they get to midcourt, I want them to look over their shoulder, because if teams press us, they're going to have that player is going to have to come back and potentially help. So that's how it's going to look. This is where I'm a little bit different. Learned this from Coach Doug Porter when he was at Olivet. I don't rim run. I want to kind of keep the middle third of the floor open. So if your court has a volleyball line on it, it would be the sideline out of bounds volleyball line that they're running right here. And they're going to end up in your dunker spot area. And then we want our point guard to be C-cutting and getting the ball on the move. The importance of the C-cut is the inbounder. If they throw the ball to the point guard and the point guard turns up the floor and runs over a player, it's not the point guard's fault. It's the passer's fault. So you got to teach them how to read and not throw that pass. We want them to get the ball on the move. And our goal is to get across mid-court in 2 dribbles. We don't want to be dancing in the backcourt. We don't want to be walking the ball up the floor. We want to get the ball across mid-court or advanced across midcourt preferably, but no more than 2 dribbles. We want to get across that midcourt line in 2 dribbles. So 5 hits 1 here, and this is what we look like. 5 would now be opposite the point guard in somewhat of a trailing position. We're going to look on dribble 1. We're looking over the top to 4 for a layup. If that's not open, I'm coaching girls now. With the boys, we would look 3. With the girls, sometimes we are probably going to have to get closer because they can't make that pass as well. Some can, some can't, is my experience so far. So we're going to look over the top for 4. Then we're going to look at 2 on the first dribble. On the second dribble, if none of that's open, we're looking to go across the street. And when we cross the midcourt line, 2 and 3 drop to the corners. And then 5 would be going opposite side of it. So that's how we look at things. So our first options are 4 over the top for a layup. If we hit 2, we have a couple things 2 can do. So when that ball hits 2, our alignment should be 2 on a wing, 3 in the corner. You don't want them in the same plane. You want them opposite of each other in the dribble drive motion offense. So now 2 has options. So it will look like if 2 goes baseline, we're going to have our tee up, we're going to have our drift, and 1 would fill here, and 5 would find the open area at the top. And we would just look to play out of that layup, drift corner 3, 1 more, tee up, reverse pivot, hit the point guard. That's what it looks like if we go baseline. If they go middle, 1 would be going here, 5 would probably be coming across, and then coming back for the drag action, and we're flowing right into our offense. 4 would be relocating. If 2 doesn't like any of it, 1 would fill here. We would throw back. 5 would be filling here. 2 needs to respace. And typically for us, it would be on a replace. We call that a replace. 5 would probably be continuing for a cut through, and we got our triple gap open to begin our dribble drive attack. Another thing that we would like to do, that we could do, is if X5 sitting in that nail area, we could just swing this pass, and now this player's cutting, and we're into our offense. We're not back dribbling. We're not doing anything. We're moving the basketball and going. We want to attack triple gaps and double gaps. We don't want to attack single gaps. Okay, those are the options for that. If we hit the 2, if we kind of cut here, we really want to hit the 3 in the backcourt still, but we're more at midcourt. So then that pass goes. In this situation, our post is on the strong side. So I do not like to attack the baseline on the 3 side, the left side of the floor. Majority of the time, that's a right-handed player. You're asking him to go left, throw a left-hand tee up, a left-hand drift. And it just causes, in my experience, a lot of turnovers. So if we're like that, and 3 drives at middle, 1's filling behind, 5 is filling like this, 2 is going to make their reads. Do I drop, which is a back door, or do I lift? On a previous live that I did, I talked about the importance of positive and negative passes. I'll drop that in the description for you to review later, but it's underneath the playlist of Dribble Drive Motion or DDM Hoop Talk live streams, where I've done about 10 of these now on various topics. So if you want to learn more about the importance of a positive versus a negative, you can go review that video on YouTube. So those are the options of what we're looking for. First of all, on those, as your first options are depending on your team. That could be you want to shoot it, drive it, or move it. We want to play off 0.5 concepts here. So we want to play off of this as fast as we can. So if we are playing and they drive it, and let's say 3 lifts out of the corner, kicks up, 2 would fill. Now you're just right into your offense and you're flowing. It's a nice straight flow out of transition. It gets you right into the offense. And I like the up the street. I use the terms up the street, which is same side, and across the street. I personally like to go across the street to start our offenses. So we're liking to go across and kicking in the head and playing out of that. What do we do if none of those advanced options are open? So we're going to try to, in this area of the floor right here, let's see. Is what I call the breakdown zone. It's been known as the breakdown zone. So this is where the decision making goes for your point guard. They get into that area of the floor. That's where they're having to make a decision because the ball is across midcourt and we're in the breakdown zone. So our five is going to be there. Our 3 is going to drop down to the corner and our 2 is going to be in the corner. So now we're in normal dribble drive spots. This is where they need to understand and read defense. If they get pushed to the outer third, our automatic, or one of my automatics, is just we're going to run a push entry, which I went over it versus the zone, but you can run this against man. And in the push entry, it's moving the chess piece, moving your players one spot. Everybody moved except for the post. Okay. So one's on the wing, and we're going to look to pass more than likely, one, and now we're going to run our rules. You pass, you cut, one filled same side, respaced to the corner. Now 5 is going to make a corner cut. 2 is going to fill. And if you see this now, we have an area to attack our triple gaps. 2's filling, 5's doing their job, 4's cleaning up, and 1's reading the defense. Do I hold the corner? Do I cut back door? Do I lift based upon where the ball's penetrated and where it is? Shared this the other day. Really good teaching point on teaching your players patience in the corners or in general in this offense. I heard it from Doug Novak. When the player's driving and then they get ready to pick the ball up, they're sitting in that corner. Your players need to ask themselves, do they need help or do they need space? In this situation, if they pick the ball up here, one needs to know they need help. So that would mean I'm either cutting up towards the ball or back door based upon the defense. 4 is probably reading. Do they need space or do they need help? They may need to lift and flash to the elbow, and you get into your drop series, which went over a lot of those in a previous live as well. So you can review that as well on the drop series. But that's how we would flow. And if we got pushed to the outer third, again, it is just, so you can see, we get pushed, we're going to roll, and everybody's going to move over a spot. 2 is going to go to the 3 side, 5 is going to assume the point guard spot, 3 is going to come up to the slots. So you're just moving your players around. Now, if we're in the breakdown zone and X5 sitting right here, we can play 2 ways. If X5, the defender, is here, we can move it and cut. We can pass and we can cut through. And as we're cutting through, we're trying to chime it to hang them up there, and we're playing off that gap. Okay. The 1-5 pass, 4-15 is what it's known as from a lot of people, and we're playing. If 2 things which happen. Like in this situation here, 5's ahead of the ball. We don't like that. If 5's ahead of the basketball, three of them are moving and we're dribbling across. If 5's ahead, that's just an automatic cut through, create the gap. get out of the way, let them have the 3 side of the floor with the triple gap. If 5 is ahead of the basketball, just an automatic cut through and go, or the last option on that would be maybe a comeback and set a drag screen here, and we can play. Those are 2 things that you can do. I like just cutting through. They're ahead of the basketball. Just get out of the way. It creates space because at minimum, if they cut through, and one brings it over and they don't like it, they can bounce it. 2 would now be filling here. Two would now be filling there, and now you got your 2-guard front. 1 would pass the 2, cut through, and now you're starting your offense. Another option I like with 1-5 in the breakdown zone, and I did a clinic on this the other night for the members of the System Basketball Community membership. This has to be 5 kind of playing how I like them to play, even or behind. And we're coming up the floor. 2's in corner. 3's in corner. And we run a middle drive. And we run this pitch kickback action. That can be right into a 3, especially if they pack it in. You can turn around and do a shovel pass, hit that transition kickback 3, pitch 3. Or now it's a downhill drive. 1's coming back out, and then they would fill behind. 3 is filling here. And those are the main automatics. A quick set that I would run. Kurt learned this from Kurt. A lot of people are running it that have been in our course, seen any content that I've been putting out. Kurt calls it wave, typically maybe on a free throw situation, or it could become your automatic. If you don't have anything when you come up, you're going to go 1-5 pass. Let's get the defense moving. 3 is going to come up. You want to get them a little higher than normal off the lift point, and you got another pass. On all of this, 1 should have been cutting. 5 should be cutting. And now you have this huge gap for them to play. And it flows right into the offense. Working on things, drills that I love to work on our offense and playing out of these concepts is progression, 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, 5-on-4, 5-on-5 drill, Mike Neighbors quick strike drill are great drills to work on your transition. The one thing that you need to work on your transition, blood drills get you ready to play fast. But the one thing that blood 44, 33, 22 do not do, they don't involve your 2 backcourt players. So you need to be doing stuff with your transition to get out and run and flowing it right into the dribble drive. See too many teams that have sent me stuff that just get it across midcourt and want to call one of their triple gap plays. Let the ball go up to your 2, let the ball go up to the 3, and let them drive it and get some paint touches and get some easy baskets in transition. You'll be amazed at how much your players will improve, whether you think they have the skill or not, by throwing the ball in practice ahead and encouraging them to get a paint touch. I don't necessarily like the 1-2 shot. I like the 1-2. Hey, let's drive it, get a drift. Let's drive it middle, and now let's get a paint touch kick, or let's drive it middle and hit one of the players coming behind for a pitch or a kickback. If you're wanting to learn more about the dribble drive, check out systembasketball.com. Kurt and I do have the comprehensive course as you're going through your season and you might be struggling with things. We cover whatever defense that you can imagine that they play inside that pack line, switching, pressure, full court pressure, zone, triangle into box and one, face guarding your corners. We in this course, we have all those ideas for you and to help you to solve the riddle of how our team's trying to stop your dribble drive. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in. I'll be able to review it and get back to you guys on this presentation. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not there, so you know when I go live again. And if you haven't headed over to the Dribble Drive Motion Hoop Talk group, where we discuss this offense daily with a network of coaches that's close to about 4,000 coaches now discussing the dribble drive daily. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation and hope to see you on the next one. And good luck, Coach.